another episode of Sikka to Swipe. At FiCommerce, we are proud to power simplified, real-time, and unified payments journey across industries, including healthcare. And through Sikka to Swipe, we bring these stories of transformation to light. Hospitals are where life-saving decisions are made every minute. But behind those clinical outcomes is a world of complex finance, reconciliation across payment sources, and the constant pressure to balance accuracy, speed, and experience. Our guest today has navigated this chaos from the CFO seat, bringing order to the billing desk in some of India's most respected hospital networks. Please welcome Shalini Sinha, currently heading finance and billing at Symbiosis University Hospital and previously with Sahyadri Hospital and Davita Express Clinic. Welcome, Shalini, to Sikka to Swipe.
Right. So, yes, I'm thankful and obliged that you selected me, and we're talking today. It's a nice experience. I hope it's going to be a nice experience.
Thank you, Shalini.
Yes.
Shalini, you started in internal audit, even led finance at a tech company before diving deep into healthcare finance. What drew you into this sector, and how different was the payment landscape here, earlier roles?
See, well, about the differences so I was with the IT sector earlier. About 12 years I've spent with IT companies. And the major difference in the IT companies, from the payment, mostly from the receipt perspective, is it's usually a B2B kind of business. Right, they will be all huge transactions and always through the banks, and there's not the real common man making payments. So there, it's a very different scenario. Usually, you get payments from the foreign countries, so it's all bank-to-bank transactions, and it's a huge thing. But then, when you come to the hospital industry, it's like absolutely you touch the person, you touch the lives of people who are just down there, like you and me. So, getting payments from them as receipts, as my income, right? Prior to that, they were all like, hard signatures, checks to be signed, letters to be signed, instructed to the bankers, right? And CSV files sent to the banks for upload of salaries and all. But then now it's like all in a jiffy, right? It's like all, you have the UPIs, the GPays. People can make payments at ease, and before end of the day, my team used to be like, all fixing bundles and putting them in some loops and keeping them ready for either the banker to come and pick it up the next day, or they going to the bank with a security guard, an armed security guard, going to the banks to get the money deposited. It's all gone now. So
we talked about the ease of payment, Shalini, and if we talk about the challenge, so because you are in a multi-stakeholder environment, right? So what is the most underrated challenge when it comes to hospital payments and reconciliation in this digital payment world? Is it the variety of stakeholder, or is it the lack of integration between systems? What has been the challenge?
The smallest little thing, integration between systems, these are all like up in the level. My biggest problem is the connectivity. The guy comes, the patient comes, he's standing on the pharmacy store and trying to make payment, and he's made the payment, his mobile says success, the transaction is successful. My machine says the transaction is not successful. And now we are in a limbo, we don't know what to do. We tell the patient that you've got to pay again because ours is declined. And he says, mine is successful, now do what? So I have to face this issue, and all this I understand from my bankers, from the suppliers of my POS machine, from those people. It's the connectivity issue.
I'm sure it's chaotic. Maybe saying
it's absolutely chaotic.
With that, you said connectivity is a challenge. What about reconciliation? It's often a nightmare in healthcare, right? Especially
absolutely. So reconciliation. So this is absolutely retail to retail. Like all my B2C, the retail customers, there I have this problem. But when I say B2B, the insurance companies, the TPAs who make payment, the CGHS, right? MJPJY, the government schemes, PMJY, the Arogya Yojanas, they all make payments to us. But then Either the payments are in bulk, or they are so cryptic. When they come into our bank account, the payments are so cryptic that we don't really understand for which patient this payment has been made.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I mean, like we would put claims for hundreds and hundreds of patients who were my IPD patients, right? And
right.
we expect the claims. So the claims come after 60 days, 70 days, right? And the claims don't come exactly to the tune of the bill.
Understood. From your discussion, I understand that, a robust payment and reconciliation system impact day-to-day operations significantly, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that payment lead to faster discharge, improving working capital, or even patient satisfaction?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the faster I get money, better is my working capital. So I manage it much better. And if the payments happen faster, it's not that the insurance companies don't make payments immediately, but at least we have patients where we have geriatric patients, old people, their kids are going to make payment from the US, from the UK, right? And we have to give them the transaction, the banking details. They will transfer money someday. Sometimes it takes T plus 1 day for the transaction to reflect. So all this should probably become seamless. Like when somebody has money, somebody needs money. I mean, there's a bill, transaction close. It should not take as much time, So that's a dream come true, I guess. You guys are into that space. So,
right. And that's why we want to hear from you, what is the thing that we can solve. So, if I could say that, if you could fix one thing in healthcare payments, what would that magic wand be?
Yeah, give me 2 wands.
Yes, please.
One is the transparency, so that these insurance companies and whoever makes payments to us, how much they've deducted and all these things. I wish they could just come very clean. And the second thing is maybe if there is one portal where we could have all these, just one single seamless kind of portal where all our systems are integrated. That kind of an activity, at least for the banking part, my patients, it should be available to them also. Like, so the mobile glitches, I don't think that these kind of things happen in the the Western countries. I guess
but India is still technically very, very superior at the way leaders in digital payments in that context, like integrations with UPI and everything else.
Right.
I will come to something which is a little bit different, a little bit a question to a career CFO, right? You come from a very classic CFO background, control, audit, compliance. So how did you evolve your thinking to also embrace customer-centric financial journey?
When I am in the hospital, I get to see my customers every day. It's kind of an FMCG kind of, so I get to see that and experience. And there are, I handle a hospital which is into charity, which most of the hospitals are, but we're not for a profit organization, right? So we get a lot of poor patients, and the fintech that could help me, is maybe help these patients get certain loans for higher diseases. A lot of other fintech companies, and the companies who could help in getting loans and managing how their finances could be adjusted or arranged or whatever, such that these poor patients could take benefit of the healthcare services that are available in our kind of hospitals, which are charity hospitals, right? So that is something that I look forward to. Maybe if somebody says that, okay, I'm a driver, right, and I get X amount of salary per month. If the system says, if you can technically develop that, okay, a part of his salary can be debited and removed every month, and you provide me a platform like this, so these guys don't really have to go to a banker or somewhere. Then I know there is an organization who
a lender. You're saying that fintech is linked with you.
Yes.
And he's giving, like how we go to a consumer retail when we are buying say a machine or something, immediate EMI, looking at your tax.
Right. Something like that.
Today there's a regulator. I mean, the finance minister has said that if you don't have your first time lender, if you don't have your CIBIL score, you can still go to a bank. So this has been the statement today. I don't know how things will change, etc. Otherwise, if you don't have your civil score, it's very difficult to get loans, right?
Correct.
So, what is the one thing, again a softer question, what is the one thing you wish somebody has told you when you became a finance head in a healthcare? Is that shift required, or you can be in the driving seat from day one?
If you're just asking me as a shift from the IT to the healthcare, of course there is a change of mindset. You need to take decisions. So we need to take decisions that if there's a poor patient and he needs a kidney transplant, how is it that we also help him to get him the relief, the patient. So that's a change of mindset. And in a healthcare setup, it's a very different ball game. So of course,
so the function is same, but the way you treat or the way you address the sector and the function is very different with the sector.
It is very different.
Any thought to upcoming CFOs who are interested in the healthcare sector or pharma sector for that matter, or healthcare sector?
I would say now I have a team of young professionals. I have auditors who come who are either just about becoming CAs or have become CAs, and they want to come into the healthcare. The only thing that I tell them is this is a very thin line, so you cannot get swayed by the emotions, because emotions towards the customer, that, and you cannot forfeit your duties towards the organization, because you have to walk that thin line, and you have to take decisions where you're making money, are you not making money. But eventually, however noble this act of healthcare services is, eventually you have to make surplus. Otherwise, how do you sustain, how do you survive in this right? So you have to have that sense, and for that you have to know the business deep, every transaction, every step of the thing, how the cash flow moves, what is it that you can do. So if you cannot increase the cash flow, if you cannot push, because here for us the time period, the credit period that we have is like my debtors or my payers give me money after 60 days, 70 days, right? That's a huge long wait period. Whereas when I have the vendors, I have to make the payment to the vendors. The period is, nobody gives me a 60 days credit period. I have to make payment within 40-45 days to all my pharmacy vendors or whoever. There are
balance is something one has to the cash.
Yes. The cost control part is always there. So the more cost control conscious you are, you're bringing more money to the table, right? Instead of spending 100 rupees, if you spend 80, you bring 20, you keep 20 for the...
I'm sure for every CFO, cost control is like a big, along with growth, that balance and
yes.
control has to work simultaneously kind of thing. I'm sure that's there. Thank you so much, Shalini. From payment complexity to clarity, that's a transformation that benefits not just hospital but patients too. Thank you, Shalini, for giving us the inside view from the finance frontline. If you enjoyed this episode of Sikka to Swipe, follow us for more conversation with the change makers, redefining how India pays. Thank you so much.